welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be going over the new Forbidden and Limited list that Konami decided to drop while I was out on a walk. I got the message from one of the sponsors, Toon Gaming. Shout out to Toon Gaming and Ben Sales. But yeah, let's get over it. So it goes in effect in approximately 2 days, which is crazy given the fact that we have YCS Raleigh. I think it was next weekend. So a lot of the player base is going to have to change up their deck list and whatnot. But yeah, so let's get into it. So Link Karibo doesn't seem like a crazy hit, but if you think about it, this was one of the beginning plays for a bunch of for Snake Eyes. It allowed them to maneuver and play around a lot of hand traps and whatnot. In addition to that, you also have to look at the fact that it's also like access code fodder, which may not be like the biggest thing, but this is a good way of them hitting the Snake Eyes deck without really hitting it too directly. The next two, crazy, not something I would have thought, but it does make sense. Baron and BSD, right? They're both so level 8, level 10, both are very easy to synchro into in today's game. And they were, I think, what is it? Yeah, so BSD was like the beginning of Dragon Link, and then people just started being able to throw it into their deck. So generic level 8, level 10 negates that are just very strong. Needless to say, it's sad to see it go because I was really hoping to play either or, most likely Baron in the Tempai Dragon deck, but it is what it is. It's unfortunate because it kind of makes your going first board with minimal commitment a lot weaker. One that I am glad to see go is the summon limit. So common trend in the past two ban lists is they're slowly removing the floodgate cards. I don't think it's a healthy thing when the only out to a floodgate is, oh, you have to hard draw it, e.g. like for summon limit you have to, granted there are a lot of ways to get rid of it, but like MST, Cosmic, Twin Twisters, Harpies, and Lightning Storm are like the big major ones. But still, the fact that you have to either draw it or you don't, then that's kind of not a good game state. Now you have the limited. So Arch Nemesis Protos, which is not the cover card here, is kind of cool or interesting. Arch Nemesis Protos, if I remember correctly, that's the one that says banish 3 different types, and then I think you declare an attribute, and neither player can use their effects or summon them or both. I think that's crazy. There's a lot of decks that can abuse this, especially like Sword Soul, and you can hypothetically abuse it in Kashtira. You don't have a way to bring it out consistently, but it is an interesting thing to think about. Not a bad going first card, but yeah. I think this card is now at like $50 or $60. This happens all the time. As soon as a card comes off, people start crazy buying and things just spike in prices. Next, you have Tidal, which is one of the Dragon Rulers. This is the water one, so I guess if you're playing like Marincess or Water, that's pretty good. It gives you like an extra discard, like for Atlanteans. So that's pretty cool. Thunder Dragon Colossus. That's an interesting thing to take off. I actually just sold my Thunder Dragon core with 3 Colossuses, so kind of sad. But it'll be interesting to see if people start playing Thunder Dragon as Rogue or splashing that engine in somehow. But yeah, that'd be really cool to see. Magispector Unicorn, Kirin. So I did not play Yu-Gi-Oh! At this time, but after reading its effect, it's a quick effect that lets you target a pen monster in the monster zone, and then one of their monsters, and then return it to hand. It is a hard once per turn, but it can't be targeted or destroyed. So you pretty much target itself and then one other card. I will say, I think if a deck can play it, a deck will play it. I guess for pendulum decks, it's not your Electromite, but I mean, with the release of like Wakashi and the other whatever came out of the last 2 sets, it's cool to see them get a little bit more support. Chicken game. All I know is that you take a K, or whoever has the least amount of life, take no damage, and then interesting. You also you get the option to draw a card as one of its effects. I will most likely be playing this as the third card or field spell within the Tempai Dragons, because it's a card that literally just says draw a card. I could also see, what's that? The trap deck that lets you Dynamorphia, right? Because they always cut their life, and it says like, oh, you take no damage if you have. This card says you take no damage if you have less life, so I could see that. Anti-spell Fragrance to 1. Kind of glad to see more floodgates get hit. This one was definitely tougher to get rid of, because if you really didn't have it, have the out in hand that was a quick play, you just weren't playing the game, or at least playing with your spell cards that turn. So, interesting. And then off to our semi-limited Armageddon Knight. Just remember, this is an old card. I think it lets you add. What does this card do? Oh, it's a Foolish Burial for dark types. Okay. I could see this potentially being played within the U-Bell decks to send their Lotus or whichever one allows them to special summon it back from the deck. Pearly, honestly, I could say that I have not played a single Pearly in the past 3 to 4 months, which is really crazy. To not play a single deck type. Like, I've played so many rogue decks, but Pearly was just a deck I've never seen actually in play other than on like DB Grinder. So I'm sure this is just one of those consistency hits. And last but not least, you have your Unlimited. Also want to point out, like, the fact that they have 2 separate dates for the effective time. It's kind of interesting. But I'm sure there is a major YCS or something like that in what, EU, EME, Africa, and Oceania, like, so I don't know, we'll see. Destiny Hero Malicious. I have never seen this card at 3. I think it is crazy that this card is at 3, because it's literally 3 free bodies, and especially like in link formats, I guess heroes go to 100% power. Orcust Harpor, glad to see that that's back. Can't do the degenerate combo plays because Nightmare Mermaid is still banned, but it'll give like Scraps and Orcust a whole new slew of consistency. So definitely we'll see a lot of that happening. And then you have Speedroid Terror Top. I think this is the one that lets you special. Let's see, Speedroid Terror Top. Right, so if you control no monsters, special this card, and then you can add a Speedroid other than itself. Okay, so it's a rank 3, so BA Dex, maybe. So we'll see. Engage to 3 is kind of crazy to me. Yeah, even at 2, I think it's crazy good, because I was playing a striker player and he resolved it, I think, 4 times in 1 turn, because it's not a hard once per turn. So we'll sort of see how that affects striker players and if people start using a striker package. I would not be a Yugi channel if I did not cover a crazy ban list, but hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe, as we're getting closer and closer to the 250 subscriber mark, so there'll definitely be a giveaway.